Compliance is a profession where people work tirelessly to make the world a better place. And there are hundreds of amazing and inspiring women who have helped the field develop into what it is today. Great Women in Compliance is part of the Compliance Podcast Network, so join Mary, Shirley, and Lisa Fine as they talk with women in compliance who are making a difference.
Welcome to the Great Women in Compliance podcast with Lisa Fine and Mary Shirley. I'm Mary Shirley, and today I'm pleased to have today's guest, Olga Pontes, with us. Welcome to the show, Olga. You've got some fantastic compliance experience under your belt. Please tell us about your background and what made you take up the Chief Compliance Officer position at Odebrecht.
Thank you, Mary, for all your words, and it's a pleasure to be here sharing knowledge and experience with the audience.
Thank you.
But to summarize 23 years, like in 2 minutes, let's say like that, it's going to be a challenge. But
I'll give you 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. But to not bore you with my professional life, instead, I will highlight the main point of my career that drove me to where I am now. All of my career, somehow, all the movements were somehow linked in a logical way. I started in my career as external auditor, financial auditor, in one of the big 4 companies, where I stay almost 10 years. For 2 of these 10 years, I was based on the London offices, where I became a SOX expert. It was around 2002 to 2004, during the boom of the SOX compliance. At that time, Braskem, that is the petrochemical arm of the Odebrecht group, was a client of this audit firm. And they were looking for a SOX specialist in Brazil. So they look around everywhere. And of course, they did not find this specialist in Brazil because we didn't have that experience there. So, but they found me at the London office. So they bring me back. The company sent me back to Brazil to help Braskem to be SOX certified. Braskem got the certification 1 year earlier than was due by SEC. And soon after, in 2006, Braskem offered me a challenge to be Braskem Chief Security Officer to create and implement the IT security area. So I did that when this area was up and running around 2009, second semester of 2009. Braskem offered me another challenge to lead the SOX compliance and internal audit department. And during these last years, my last years working for Braskem, during that period, I challenged a lot the leadership. I challenged a lot the shareholders of Braskem, that is the Odebrecht group. But despite all my recommendation made at that time, I did not receive all the response that I had hoped for. So, but however, I did not receive all the answer that I hoped for. I know that nowadays, over that period, I had planted several seeds that I'm collecting now. And because of the seeds that I had planted at that time, in 2016, when Odebrecht decided to transform, when Odebrecht decided to start to collaborate with the authorities, when Odebrecht decided to stop denying the facts, denying the wrongdoings, they offered me to be Odebrecht CCO, Chief Security, Chief Compliance Officer of the holding company, to draw and to implement the compliance system across the group and implement all recommendation one day was made by me. So that's why where I am now. So now I'm continue planting seeds to see. Let's see. I do not know yet where this seed is going to drive me, but let's see what this seed that I'm planting now that is going to drive me to my next challenge, probably.
Oh, wonderful. So at that time, you were, Odebrecht as a company at the time you joined was already under scrutiny by the authorities. So how did you feel at the commencement of taking on such a large and challenging task to get a company that was on its knees in respect of ethics and integrity back up on its feet? And then how do you feel now, 3 years later?
Mary, personally, I'm a very positive person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I always look to the part of the glass that is full, not the part of the glass that is empty.
Mm-hmm.
So I have always felt and still feel confident that it's possible to change, that it's possible to change one culture, or the Odebrecht culture, or any other culture that needs to be changed, and think what is necessary to be fixed to do what is right. So I'm still confident that with discipline, we generate respect and build confidence that it's indeed possible to change. So I'm really convicted that compliance is also a culture. Compliance is not a process with beginning and ending. And when it's a culture, everyone has accountability in a transformation process. So it's how I feel, and it's the same way I felt when I started this challenge, that is possible. When you believe that it's possible, you can do it.
I love that. And for companies who may be facing their own ethics and compliance challenges with regulators right now, I can say that's really encouraging to hear that from you after largely coming out the other end in one piece. That's great news. So the company made a lot of changes to structure and to policies and procedures which were designed to tighten controls and drive employees to conduct business in an ethical way. What are some of the things that the team did that had some of the biggest impact in helping with that transformation?
Well, we have done so many things that cause biggest impact, but I'm trying to highlight the main ones. I think that the main impact was the decision to collaborate with authorities and to reconcile the past. So since 2016, we made several leniency agreements with several countries around the world. So this is the main point of change. But talking about build the future, the transformation process, and leave the past on the past, set up a completely new corporate governance was the biggest impact in helping with the transformation. So we define from the start of the transformation process, we define that all our business should have their own board of director. Not all our business had board of director at that time. We define also that each board of directors should have their own compliance committee formed by board members.
Yes.
We define also that the compliance officer should report to the board of directors. So this was the main change that caused the biggest impact. So we create the proper tone from the top. But to tell the truth, we also know that message from the top is not enough in a transformation process. We need also to create all the environment to verify, not only to trust. So the message from the top, the new governance structures is important, but we need to more than trust. You need to create an environment to verify. And all the environment to verify was based on all the elements of the compliance system that was implemented. But answer your question, for sure, the biggest impact of helping with the transformation, for sure, was the after reconcile the past and collaborate with the authority, was create a new compliance structure, or new governance structure where compliance is fit in.
Perfect. And what would your advice be to a chief compliance officer who's finding themselves in a similar position to you 3 years ago? So someone working for a company who's just settled with authorities or regulators in any country, really. What would your advice be to that person who's starting the process fresh?
Mary, my advice is going to be what I'm doing and what I started to do in 2016, because it's working well. So
great.
If it's working well, I'm having success, and the company is having success with where we are doing. It's going to be my advice. My advice is start to implement all the change that should be implemented as soon as possible. Do not wait to be demanded by authorities to implement what you should know, what have to be done. Do not wait the authorities to demand. Do it first in a sustainable way, not do to do it. Don't do a paperwork. Do everything in a sustainable way. We decide to transform in March 2016, and we start our transformation in March 2016, where I joined Odebrecht SA as a Chief Compliance Officer. The first leniency agreement was signed by the end of that year, December 2016. When the authorities and the monitors arrived at the company in February 2017, we had a lot of things started and implemented. So do not wait to do what is right. What is right, it's best practice around the world. It's accessible. Everyone can learn. Everyone can have information about how to do it. So do it. Do not wait to be demanded by authorities. Do what is right as soon as possible.
That's really sound advice. Thank you for that. And my understanding, Olga, is that Odebrecht was assigned a corporate monitor. Can you give us some insights into how everyday business changes when under a corporate monitorship? And what would your advice be to a company who's just been assigned a corporate monitor?
Yeah, we are not signed only by one monitorship.
Oh,
we are signed
right.
for several monitorships. We are the only company around the world who are being monitored by multiple authorities.
Right.
And yes, GOJ, MPF, CDU, AGU. So you have multiple monitors at the same time. That is, to have one is a challenge. To have multiple is a bigger challenge.
I was just thinking that. How are you even project managing all of this?
Yeah, it's with discipline, focus, planning.
Yes.
So answer your question, our everyday business should not have major impact because one of the things that the monitorship would like to see and monitor is how natural the company is doing business in an ethical way. So we cannot work in a different way if the monitor is on the field or the monitor is not on the field. So the everyday business should not have major impact.
Good point.
But the company should be prepared to receive a corporate monitors or multiple corporate monitors. From our success experience up to now, I would say that the company must define a structure, team to be the monitor's focus point in the company. At Odebrecht Group, to tell my experience, at Odebrecht Group, the compliance team of the holding company, that is my team, I have a group of employees dedicated, 100% dedicated to support the monitorship in all its demands, all of them. So we concentrate on their requests, their needs, everything. This team that is work in my area should centralize all the demands from monitors and also be responsible to drive the company, mainly the leadership of the most areas of the companies, to attend on time and with also quality the numerous several demands from monitors. So it's the way that we found to achieve the goals during that period. So be organized and planned to meet so many demands that is incredible how many demands the monitors ask us. But other thing that maybe it's important, not related to the impact of the monitorship inside the company, but how the company received the monitors. So since the beginning, the company received the monitors as a group of experts that is going to help our transformation. A group of experts that is going to speed our transformation. We never see the monitors as a group of experts that is going to fight against us or is going to be seated on the other side of the table. Of course, that they are completely independent, but the way that all the company and this message started from the top management, the tone from the top. The way that we received them was to arm them, because we know that we also need them to help us to do what we are doing even better and even faster.
Mm-hmm. Right. So they're not the enemy, and in a sense, you guys both have the same goals, right? You're both anticipating and wanting the company to have a really robust and defensible compliance program. You want that. They want to be able to sign off on that. So even though it's independent, it should still be almost a harmonious partnership, I would imagine.
Yeah, you're completely right. In the end, we have the same goals. Like we as a company would like to finish this process better, recognize that we are have an environment that is sustainable to do business in an ethical way. And on the other hand, the monitors are here because the authority would like that the company or the branch survive and be recognized as a company that can do business in an ethical way and influence others to do the same.
Mm-hmm. Great. And throughout this process, was there anything surprising that you've learned in the last 3 years while getting Odebrecht into shipshape?
Well, surprise. I did not come anything on my mind. What I learned a lot in the last few years, or maybe what I improved a lot my skill on the last years, was how to turn no's into yes. So what I learned from the last 3 years is to do not take any no's as a personal reaction against you. So I received a couple of no's trying to implement things, but I did not took that no as a personal reaction against myself. I saw all these as opportunity to plant a seed to change the culture. So if it's not no, the answer that you believe that is right, what I learned, bring the issue to the table, discuss risk, responsibility, accountability, and drive your speed in that area. In most of the case, no's is going to turn into yes. So is this always the spirit to teach how to fish, but not give the fish?
Right.
So do not be satisfied with the no. If you think that the yes is the right question, try to get the yes. Explain why the yes is the best answer.
Perfect. And I know that you've been doing obviously a lot in the last 3 years, but I'm sure you still have had some major goals for current and in 2019 and then moving forward into 2020. So will you share with us what has been your major goal for the company for 2019?
Wow, Mary, after almost 4 years of transformation and implement a lot of things. Normally people expect to hear me that, I need the goal is to implement A process, C process, Z process. And to tell the truth, our main goals is to prove to the company and prove to society and prove to authorities that everything that was implemented in the last 3-4 years can be sustainable, even if you are in a financial crisis. As you know, Odebrecht holding company is in Chapter 11 nowadays. So we are in a financial crisis, but even that, we can still do compliance and you can put up and running the compliance system and all the elements of the compliance system that was implemented in the last 3-4 years.
Yeah, that's really interesting. You're saying, despite the fact that you're in somewhat dire financial circumstances compared with a more healthy financial situation, that should not be reason for you to stop prioritizing compliance. Even if in a difficult financial situation, you can still find a way to ensure that compliance has adequate resources to continue the compliance program.
Yeah, for sure. This is my main goal nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Well, I wish you all the best with that and with your optimism and just your formidable skills and capabilities. I'm sure that we will see a continued success for your efforts into the compliance program. And I thank you very much for being on the show today.
Thank you, Mary.
Well, everyone, to wrap up today's show, I just wanted to comment that Lisa and I believe that constant learning and self-improvement is crucial. So as you've probably seen, we've solicited a lot of feedback on what you'd like to see more of on this podcast and general feedback as to how we can make the show even better. If you've enjoyed the show, please think about rating it, because positive feedback also enables us to know what we're getting right as well. And as always, Lisa and I love reading your notes too. Thank you for continuing to contact us, and we appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Great Women in Compliance. We hope you'll join us in honoring the great women in the compliance field by subscribing to this podcast and leaving a review.